start off because you'll have to remind me of the name of the town you're in.
I'm from Whippany, New Jersey, near Morristown, New Jersey, in northern New Jersey. And my practice has only been open for 2 years, but it's holistic pet care as part of Longevity Veterinary Center. And I'll just keep it at that so that you can have more time. But my claim to fame is past president of the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association.
Okay, great, Jerry. And why don't you start us off? Do you have something that you want to share for the audience about what's been going on in your practice with the patches?
Well, I've had some great experiences with my own dog and with several other dogs, just amazing. But it was more interesting for me to talk to somebody this morning about a dog that I expected to do better and didn't. And it brings up a lot of, there are things that the dog is doing better. It can't stand any better than it was, but it is eating better and other things are better. It was a little bit frustrating. And talking with our group, I realized that there's a couple of things that we'll be talking about, but that you can't always expect what you expect. The body has its own wisdom, and the patches will work with the body's wisdom. But also be happy with what you get. And sometimes it's just not the right time for the body to improve itself. And it might have its own course of action. Maybe nature has something else in store for them. And so you have to be patient, and I have to be patient.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Dr. B. And now let's pass it over to Dr. Scarlett. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Hello, welcome to Vet Talk. I have a case who's a 15-year-old lab who came for limping and incontinence. She was like peeing in the house, and when I did my exam, I felt firm, bony growth on the top of her tibia, so the bottom part of her knee, and I could tell that she was in pain, and so I had triple patched her with X39 Eon and carnosine, and 2 days later she was walking pretty well and no longer having accidents in the house. So you'll see a photo of her later when we talk about where to place the patches, but just want to celebrate her and her resilience, and looking forward to hearing everyone else's shares and questions.
Thank you, Dr. Scarlett. Hey, let's pass it over to Diane.
Hi, everyone. First and foremost, I love animals and dogs, and have worked with bunnies and cats and alpaca and other animals as well, and hope to use the patch for them as well. I am accredited professional canine teacher. I like to say teacher instead of trainer, and founder of the Pet Professionals Guild, which we are positive only. And I believe that changing behavior is for positive results oriented. And so LifeWave fits right into that particular mindset. And I am a certified Tellington Touch practitioner as well, and also have many certifications in behavioral issues like dogs who guard resources, and aggression, and everything that goes in between, and have worked with many behavior challenges. In fact, that's what I love to do. Normal is not in my vocabulary because I'm working with all of the more difficult situations.
Okay, thank you, Diane. And now let's pass it over to Jared.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Scottsdale. I'm Jared, everybody. Hello, nice to meet you. I've been patching horses out here, predominantly horses. I'm one of the horse specialists on the channel. Um, Lately, not been a lot, not patching a lot, but I think if we do work through some, I do have a case that we're gonna throw a picture up that I can talk about. Doesn't have to be right this second, but I can talk more about how I patch horses when we work through the actual case studies of the portion. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Jared. And Maggie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I have been working with animals and healing them a long time, but just with the patches in the last year and a half, and more on horses and dogs right now. But I am excited about all species and trying them out on two-leggeds and wingeds and everybody. And this is such a great panel. I'd like to get right to them, and people that want to share their stories. We have a lot more time for you today.
Okay, so raise your hand, please. There's a hand icon in the bottom of your screen if you have a story you want to share. Sandy Dank, please unmute.
Okay, actually, it's a question. Is that okay? Or should I?
Yep.
Okay, good. We've had rescue dogs for years and years and years. My husband and I have been married 46 years, went through a lot of dogs. This one we have now, she's from Arkansas. We don't know really what she is. She's 12 years old. And we lost our Newfoundland, and she was really bonded to him. She's been very skittish since he had died. It was like 2 years ago now. But when storms...
What kind of dress you're going to use? Any dressing?
Oh, can you please mute yourself? Sorry about that.
No, and I'll try to go a little fast. So we were out of town 2 weeks ago. In Minnesota, we were in Florida. In Minnesota, they had a real bad week of storms. Our neighbors watched them. Watched both dogs. And we had tornado warnings. She was under their tractor in the garage. She was very, very scared. When we picked her up the week later, and there were a lot of storms that week, she is very, very scared. She's shaking all the time. She doesn't want to go outside to go to the bathroom. She's just terrified of her own shadow. She's not acting right at all. I did put an Eon one day on her. I thought she calmed down a little bit. I just don't know what exactly to do, what to put on her. But like tonight, we had a big storm.
Okay, Pat, Sandy, that's good. I think we got the
Okay, got it.
Okay. So, Dr. Scarlett or Diane or...
Yeah, I can just address that a little bit. For thunderstorms, fears like that, you do have to start work early on and start desensitizing them to that particular sound that they are afraid of. But with the patches, the X39 and the Eon together can cause a very nice calming effect along with the work that you're doing. Don't just expect that X39 and Eon is just going to take away that fear, because you will be working through that as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Patty Nuzzo. Patty, do you have...
Hello. Hi, how are you? So I do have he had a 16-year-old Chihuahua, and about 2 years ago he had a mass on his liver, and so he did almost die. They said, well, this is it. We figured he was almost 16. So my sister, Dr. Kathy, says, oh no, we have to put those patches, and he has to have the signal right on him. So she actually created a collar. We put the patches in the collar, and so I use X39 49 by day, Eon Alameda Carnosine by night, and for the next year and a half, another 18 months, that dog had so much energy. He would run around. He actually would beat me up the stairs. So we were so grateful that we had another 18 months with him, but he did pass away about 2 weeks ago. But we had another 18 months, and I know it was the patches as we weren't doing anything else. But to see him recover from this liver incident and have his numbers go down, the vet couldn't understand why his red blood count was normal again. But I told him about the patches, but a lot of people just they're just not familiar with it. But that was my story, and for my Jackson, rest in peace. We miss him so much. The house is not the same without him, but we were grateful that the patches gave us another year and a half with him.
Oh, let's just all take a moment for Jackson. Oh, thank you, Patty, for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yes.
So sorry.
And Dr. Scarlett and I all of us, our team were having a conversation this morning about end of life. And Dr. Scarlett, can you comment on that? Do we lose her? She's in one of those places.
There, she's there. She's unmuted now.
I think we tend to overemphasize the idea of keeping beings alive as long as possible and to save everything. And I think honoring the natural life cycle of birth, life, death, renewal is really important. And one thing that we can offer with the patches is restoring the different systems so that they're in balance at the time of departure, and just honoring that process. And so I commend you for keeping your animal in a optimal state. And we are here to extend life within the divine plan. Divine means beyond human limitation. So just keeping in mind that we are here to honor life and death and do what we can, and the rest is out of our hands.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Scarlett. And that conversation started because we were talking about a case, right, with Dr. B, where the patch didn't help. And so, these patches do help in some ways, but it's not always going to be the end all and cure all. Dr. B, did you want to say something?
No, I just said that was beautifully spoken, Scarlett.
Yeah, it was.
Was.
Okay. Hillary. And if you've already spoken, please take your hand down.
I got my babies right here at Lowe's. I got my husky and golden doodle and a boxer. The little puppy is my new one, but my other boxer had passed away. And but the praise report on her, it was absolutely miraculous. I'm trying to switch my video camera. I forgot how to do that. Let's see here. Okay, sorry. She had a bladder. It was another boxer. Her name was Lily. She had a bladder incontinence issue. I think because she got fixed way too soon, like maybe at 4 months. And I heard that may be a side effect of not being, fixed too soon. Anyway, so she had wear a diaper every night for almost 2.5, 3 years. Like prayed, supplements.
Hillary, could you stop while you talk? Thanks.
Yeah.
You're making us dizzy.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So this is a quick praise report. So she had to put a diaper on her my boxer, from ages 5.5 to 8.5. And I found the patches, a couple years ago. And within 2 months of patching, literally she would wake up with a completely soiled, diaper with urine, like a pound of pee. She woke up at about the 3-month mark, not one drop of urine, her incontinence, completely gone. She was completely healed, and no more symptoms. And also she was about 8.5 at the time of this amazing praise report story with her bladder. And she acted like a puppy. I mean, she acted literally like a little 1-year-old boxer the last 3 years of her life. So she just passed away. I got this little puppy right here, Gracie, but she's in heaven, and I'll see her again. But the patches absolutely are amazing. So yeah, just wanted to share that testimony.
Thank you for that praise report, Hillary. That was great.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And now some of you may not even know what we're talking about, because I bet you we have some new guests who were just said, get on this call, and why is this happening and what are these patches? Can we take a segue and have Dr. Scarlett, could you fill us in, please?
Sure. So every single being with a spine has cells that emit light. They're called photons. And these photons have a very important ability to activate different healing pathways. And so what has been invented by David Schmidt is this little sticker that has nothing in it, which is why athletes are able to perform and not have any type of reprimand. And it's a crystal. It's a crystal made up of different proteins, carbohydrates, and salts. And that crystal has the ability to take those photons that are coming off the body and reflect them back into the body in a specific wavelength. These wavelengths are activating different peptides. So anyone who's familiar with peptide therapy will know this master peptide called GHKCU, and that's glycyl histidolysine, copper. And if you really want to go deeper, I highly recommend going to copperpeptidebreakthrough.com to understand the myriad of healing capacities of this one peptide. I'll go through a couple of the big takeaways. So one, it turns on thousands of genes that have the initial codes, the blueprint of the body for how it was designed to be. Second, it recruits, activates, as well as enables the ability for the body to reproduce stem cells. As we age, we make less and less stem cells and they become lazy. And so when you hear of an elderly person or animal who broke a bone, there's so much fear in that because they are healing at a much lower rate. So what's so amazing about this little patch is that no matter what age you are, it will amplify the healing pathways that we all have. Anything with a spine will respond to these patches, and we keep testing the limit. Just last week, there was a bird that Good Samaritan found in a field, and it was stunned and couldn't stand, and she took her patch off her body and put it on the wing of the bird, and within minutes it was up and flying and fine. So there's, in addition to recruiting and activating stem cells, which will transform into whatever cell the body needs. So if you have an animal with a bone problem and they also have a gut that's not doing well, the body is going to send those stem cells to where it believes is priority number one. And so we have to trust the body's intelligence over our desires and know that it's doing what it believes is most important first. And those other ailments may take longer to heal. But I can tell you from my own experience, I can't help but calling these patches miraculous. So the master patch, this is the X39 that I've been talking about, which activates GHKCU. It also helps with wound repair and collagen production. It increases glutathione levels by 30%. Glutathione is the body's master detox pathway. And so if you had to choose one patch alone, it would be the X39. And so all one does is remove the sticker on the back. And as long as this patch is within 3 inches of the body, it will work. And we'll show some demonstration locations for various animals later. But just remember, if it's on your animal one way or another, on the collar, on a harness, on a costume, it will work. So I'm not going to go through every single patch today, but I'll go through some of my favorites. The one to pair with the X39 is the Eon, and this is a master anti-inflammatory patch. So any type of disharmony is going to benefit from the Eon. And it's also going to protect those newly recruited stem cells. If there's inflammation in the body, those stem cells are going to get eaten up and not able to have the same impact as they would with the inflammation being down. So I have used this combination for ligament tears, for wounds, for major swelling, and the two of these together are phenomenal. The other patch I'm going to talk about is glutathione. So this is the body's master detoxification. And what I want to remind everyone is that there's nothing in these patches. So it's not the patch itself that's doing the healing. It's the body. It's you. It's your animal. So everything I'm saying is based off the dozens of papers that have been published on these peptides. And so once we can extrapolate what the peptides do, we can understand their application. So there are studies on the peptides. There are also studies on the patches. Over 90 clinical studies on the patches themselves, hundreds of studies on the peptides. So glutathione, this is amazing for cartilage repair, for lung issues, for liver and kidney derangements, because those two organs are processing massive byproducts, and those byproducts need to be excreted. And if they're not able to be excreted, they're going to accumulate and back up into the bloodstream, which is why when you go to your vet, you see elevated liver or kidney values. Those are signs that those organs aren't functioning properly and they're not able to do the job they're designed to. So any of the patches you can put on the location of interest. So if there's a bad knee that's got arthritis, or you have coughing, you can put the patch directly on the knee or directly on the chest. Can you open the door? And the glutathione patch is going to increase blood levels by 300%. You may have heard of IV glutathione therapy. Unfortunately, the half-life of glutathione, depending on what tissue it is, whether it's blood or organ, it's very short. The longest you're gonna have is 3 hours, and then it's gone. So what's amazing about the glutathione patch is that you have sustained glutathione levels, and the cost of a glutathione injection is around $150, and this 1 month therapy of patches is $80. So definitely worth the money for the longevity of the healing that's provided. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about carnosine. This is an amazing patch for wounds, for heart issues. Dr. Kneller did an incredible study, which you can just Google him, Kneller, and he presented this study to the American Medical Association and showed that the carnosine patch had increased the cardiac ejection fraction volume by 8%, which no medication in the history of medicine has been able to do. So if you're looking to increase heart health and productivity, highly recommend carnosine. The other amazing thing that it can do is decrease tumor production, the growth of tumors. And everything I'm saying you can look up and research for yourself, and just invite you to experiment and try them. And one last thing I want to say about glutathione is remember detoxification, toxin. So those toxins need to go somewhere. the 3 routes they're going to go are the mouth, the butt, or the urinary system. And we have been trained to want to curb those symptoms. And I just encourage you to remember nature and that our bodies are more intelligent than we think. And having the ability to purge toxins in any of those directions are highly important, highly valuable. Now, obviously, there's a limit to how far we want that to go. And if it's not something that you feel you can handle, I highly recommend having a veterinarian involved. I just wanted to warn you of those. I don't even want to call them side effects, because they're the intended effects of the patch. So that's all I'll share for now about the patches, and we'll go over locations and answer more questions later. Thank you.
Perfect. You're muted, Juliana.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you for
My
that.
dog was barking in the background, so I muted myself. Thank you, Dr. Scarlett, for that very thorough explanation. And we will be looking at different patches on different calls, everyone, because we can't possibly go through them all. But the X39 is the main patch always. So, Dr. Kathy Wong.
Hello, LifeWave community. Oh, I love animal lovers. This is a great call. So I want to share a fish story. I have a friend who has a fish. I don't know the name of the type of fish, but it's got the fish that has the big crown on his head. And she said she would always have to buy chemicals to go ahead and clean the water and keep the fish from getting like infections whenever he would bump against the coral that was in the fish tank. So she put an X39 on the tank. And she said that all that abrasions on that head of that fish went away. And she also said that she was able to decrease the amount of chemicals that she would need to put into the tank to keep the fish healthy. So it just by putting an X39 patch on, she was able to go ahead and save money and keep her fish healthy.
Oh, that's a great story. Thank you.
And it's just on the fish tank. She did not put it on the fish, just the fish tank.
Yes, I love it. Thank you very much. I bet you the water conducts the energy very well in the tank.
Very well. Yes, absolutely.
Rosa.
Hi. So I use the X39 and the Eon for myself all the time. But I'm a dog lover. I'm from Canada and I work for a big company, and I have a teacup Chihuahua who I love with all my heart, but has costed me over $30,000 with all her surgeries. So I'm just asking about, like, I'm not 100%, so if there's a vet on here, they probably understand, but it was some surgery she had to get done on her knees and her hip. And I'm just wondering, the doctors keep telling me that she might need it again, and I'm just seeing if I can get some suggestions of what best patches I should use on her.
Dr. B, could you take that question?
I'm sorry. I had a text from a client.
Do you want Dr. Scarlett to take it?
Yeah, if you had.
Sure. Dr. Scarlett.
Sure. So I just want to preface this by saying we're not here to give medical advice, and it is an educational platform, and we're not here to replace your veterinarian. We're here to offer informative testimonials and education about how the patches work. So I will share from a case that can help you sort of see how broader your lens can be. The patches can be stacked, so placing 2 or 3 of them on top of each other will amplify the signal. And you can also put more than one patch in one location. So you're talking about the hips and the knees. I would put, and I would move them. You don't want to put the same patch on the same spot every day, because the body gets lazy and won't have as dramatic of a change. And so adding in glutathione for cartilage and ligament support, and if you can double up on your X39 and Eon, and you can also like alternate between the support patches, so you're not using the exact same patch every day. So rotating and if you can add in X49, X49 has been proven to enhance bone growth and development. So the one that you would, no matter what, continue is the X39. And if you are adding an X49, then you need to do it every day, because both of them are recruiting and activating stem cells, and they work in a cumulative manner. The other patches you can kind of interchange for a week or two duration and then take a break. Once you are working with them, you'll develop a relationship and you'll intuitively know what to use when. I have an incredible dog that might have a testimonial shared tonight. Matthew, who's got cancer throughout his body, and he's wearing about 10 patches a day, and he's already 3 months past his life expectancy from the veterinarian, and doing quite well. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Scarlett. And let's go to Brenda Hurdle, who has an update on Matthew, the dog that Scarlett was just talking about. Hello, Brenda.
This is Matthew. Hi, everyone. Matthew has, let's see, I can't use medical terminology, so Matthew has tumors on all his lymph nodes and his spleen and his liver. His prognosis, like she was saying, he has outlived his prognosis. I've been using the patches on him since January, and we use X39, glutathione, energy enhancer, and Eon, carnosine, and X49. So I'm happy with how he's doing, and you can see he's eating well. All systems are working excellent, and I contribute a lot of this to the patches. And he's a grand dog. He's my little boy. So I just wanted to present him to you.
Thank you. Hi, Matthew. I'm so happy to hear he's doing well, Brenda. Thank you so much. Margot. Margot, you need to unmute.
Hi. I was feeding my dog in the middle of everything. I just have a few things. First of all, my dog was teething, and he was in a lot of pain. He's a 9-month-old bearded collie, and he was having a lot of pain, and I just said, let me just try this. So I put an Eon and 2 ice waves, because I didn't have the other I can't name AcuLife patches. And so he slept for 10 hours, woke up bigger, and saved my shoes. That's just, I'm very happy about that, because he doesn't teeth. So anytime he looks uncomfortable or did look uncomfortable, I put the patches on him. But what I wanted to talk about is that I have a friend whose grand dog was not walking, and her parents were away for a week, and she was getting all her medication, but she wasn't getting any of her physical therapy that would help her get past some of her hip and knee issues. And so one day I said, well, why don't I she was not moving. So I said, why don't I try the ice wave patches? Let's see what happens. And so within 6 hours, she was chasing my puppy, bearded collie, around the backyard. And it was incredible. The two of us looked at each other like, what just happened here? And I can't say that it's cured it in one day, but it took away her pain in a way that a very expensive therapy session did, and lasted for her until the next time I guess she went to physical therapy, because it just took her past that place where she just could not move. And I think that's incredible.
Cooper, did you do a good day today?
That's one other, and I just have one other question and comment. The woman who was talking about the dog being incontinent, I know that my last dog, who has since passed away, I didn't understand. I'm an OR nurse, so when the doctor said to me, well, she's older than we would usually spay a dog, she may wind up being incontinent. And so in my mind, I said to him, so be careful. Don't do anything wrong. She won't be peeing on herself. And so I didn't understand that it is also related to estrogen and the laxity of the sphincters. And so I just wanted to suggest that one of the important considerations with patches is that there's hormonal influence, and it helps to balance your hormonal activity and helps to restore parts of us that, and the dogs that haven't been working the way that they used to. And so I guess what I'm asking is that correct, Dr. Scarlett?
Oh yeah, I mean the patches are not a cure-all for everything, and they don't replace your veterinarian and whole food nutrition. Being aware of the environment is vital. If processed foods are being consumed, you're going to have a much less impact of the patches. And there's a lot more to healing than just the patches alone. So thank you for bringing that up.
But I mean that they contribute to our wellness in other ways that everybody doesn't immediately associate with the healing.
Right, because every cell in the body is being waken up. And so you have different glands and organs that are now functioning at a higher capacity than they were before. And having that assistance to restore the proteins or the hormones is a beautiful thing. So yes, they can help, and without complicating things too much, there's specifically a patch called SP6 for hormone balancing, and the studies on that showed an 11% increase in various organ and glandular function in the first week. So by all means, there's going to be more benefits than we can quantify.
Thank you, Dr. Scarlett. And I want to also make the comment that Margot talked about IceWave and AcuLife. They're the same patch. One is for humans, one is for animals, but it's just a different name for marketing purposes. They're the same patch. And that's a 2-patch system, and those cut the pain circuits to the brain, so they will help with the pain. And it was obvious when your dog started running around like a puppy again. And I love that because we all know there's no placebo effect with animals. So when you see that, you know it's working. But those aren't regenerative patches, just so you know. So we use the IceWave when there's pain, if we need it. Sometimes just the Eon and the IceWave alone, the Eon and the X39 alone are enough. But we use the IceWave, but it's not, the IceWave is not going to regenerate anything. So don't use that alone. Just, you always want to have the X39 involved too. Thank you for that, Margot. Cindy, and we've got a lot of people with their hands up, and we only have 11 minutes left. So if you could each make it as short and succinct as possible, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. I just have a really quick question. Somebody has said to take the patches. I've been taking my patches off, and after 8 hours and putting them on my dog's collar. I have an 8.5-year-old golden retriever. I'm just trying to just be proactive. Or is it better to keep the patches on, just get new patches and leave them on all day like we do?
The patches aren't going to be as forceful when you have already worn them for 8 hours, because they all have about 12 to 16 hours of juice in them, but they eventually wear out. And for people who save their patches, I learned not too long ago that that's not doing any good. If you save them overnight, they're degenerating. They degenerate the minute you put them on your skin. So even if you wear patches for 4 hours, you can assume there's maybe another 8 hours there. But if you just leave them sitting there, they're continuing to degenerate while they're sitting.
So I've just been taking them off of me and letting him have them for 4 hours, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And wondering if he's probably getting some benefit rather than...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just not as much as he would with a new patch, but that definitely is giving him benefit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
Ann Hoffman.
Hi. Wasn't me. Start with, I live in Baja, California, down below San Diego in Mexico. And I have just rescued a puppy that has been to the vet and now has all her shots and everything. The vet thinks she's about 5 months old now. And we have free spay and neuter clinics down here. My question is two parts. The first is, I'm going to take advantage of that because financially that's going to be the way I'm going to have to do it. So what should be the age? She's estimated to be 5 months old right now.
Okay, let's throw that over to Dr. B.
Yeah, it was interesting. Margot kind of pointed that out, that it's good for both old and young. Certainly the younger ones will be just full of stem cells, but the patches do a great job, especially the X39, to recruit them and to activate them. So there is no age that it's not appropriate for.
I think she was saying age for spaying and neutering, but that's not appropriate for
Oh,
this.
I'm sorry.
No, but that's okay. Is that what you were asking, Ann?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd have to consult.
Yeah, that's kind of a separate discussion because
Forget I asked that, then let me ask this. What patches? When I had some an implant done, I used patches on my cheek. I used Ice Wave and Eon and X39 on my cheek. Is that appropriate to put on her at that time? And would it go right there near the incision?
You're saying when you have her spayed?
Yes. Am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah. Yep. Dr. B or Dr. Scarlett?
Yeah, I use, I just think the X39 is enough. And I would not necessarily put it at the spot of the incision, but I would put it on the collar, personally.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
And now I see someone Google Pixel 7. There's no name.
And you need to unmute. Oh, there you go. Nope.
Now, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, numerous things. I take care of lots of animals. I'm a naturopath and a nurse. I had a horse that had a huge swelling at the TMG right below the ear, the size of a softball. So I put glutathione, Eon, and X39 on. In the next morning, it was a fourth the size, and within 4 days, the whole thing had resolved. And I don't know if she got kicked there or not, but boy, did it work well. And I also used the Acu patch for pain. But I have seen some unusual animals. I have a friend that had a snake that was sick, and I'm terribly afraid of snakes, but we put an X39 on the terrarium, and the snake got well. Wow. 12 hours on. And then I have African gray, and it was sick. And I just put it on the cage and changed it every 12 hours. And within 3 days, the bird was completely recovered. In fact, talking more than usual. So I've had extremely good luck with particularly the X39, but I do horses all the time, and I had a premature foal 3 weeks ago, and I patched him up, and especially for X49 with 39 and glutathione, and because he was unable to get up. Within 4 days he could get up. Within 9 days he couldn't lie back down, so he had sleep deprivation. And so by 9 days he pretty much fully recovered with that combination. So I just kudos for everybody that's on here, and I've tried all kinds of different things, and they work rapidly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Diane, did you have a comment?
Yes. So if you hear any whining or barking in the background, it's because it's potty time. Okay. So I wonder if Linda, I want to address the pain that everybody is talking about. And I think I have some video of my dog Legend, and I wonder if we could play that now. How do you feel about that?
Sure. Showing about 5 minutes left, so this is a good time.
Okay, showing the first video where it was just horrible because he couldn't get up. He would lie down to eat and drink. And you're talking a puppy. Symptoms were pain.
And say that the disease name, some people might not know that that's just, it's growing pains, but really serious.
Yes, it's growing pains, and it's panosleitis. And I do have 2 x-rays as well. So if we could show some of this from the video, show how he was in the beginning without the patches and then using the patches, because he was put on Rimadyl, which is a pain medication, okay? And then Maggie was so distraught by my comments on Facebook that she sent me some AcuLife, which is the pain piece for Legend. The 2 pictures on the left are the veterinarians. I think you can see them, where you can see the inflammation in the back left foot or hip and leg area. But the 2 right are him after the patches. So his toes were pointing outward, you know how, the structure, now they're pointing in, and he's happy and he's carefree and he's all evened out. His back is evened out. And then if we could show a video on the before so people can see, he would just collapse. He does nose work, and I couldn't even take him to nose work. He would fall on the ground. So I had to go by myself. And I was just distraught, because this is horrible to watch a puppy go through. He has nothing now. He doesn't need any patches. His stem cells are good, but he used AcuLife, and I put an X39 under his collar during the process as well.
I'm sorry I don't have the video. Somehow I didn't get that, so my apologies on that.
Okay. Well, just imagine a dog who can't walk, who's limping and falling to the ground, and he takes a few steps and he sits and he can't move, to a dog who can now play at the dog park or go for long walks, and his body's all evened out.
And if they go to your Facebook, you have it all documented there too.
Yes, and if you would like to, yes, you could do that.
Okay, thank you for that. And now we've got a few minutes left, and we're just going to go around the horn and one more time. Linda, did you have some things that you wanted to put up as far as charts go?
If the doctors would like me to, I do have some.
Maggie, what did you have in mind for that?
Oh, I didn't send any that were going to be for, I had some filler stuff. I just did want to add about the birds that you could wrap the patch on the perch.
Okay, wasn't there one other thing you wanted to say?
Oh, for the anybody that has an animal that's getting ready to cross, there's a wonderful support website, and it's spiritsinTransition.org. And that's a lot of good tips, and they even have an 800 number you can call for support. And it's great for the humans too.
Thank you for that. Jared, do you have anything you want to say in closing?
I don't, not in particular. Everything was great. Thank you guys all for sharing all your stories. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for being here, Jared. And Dr. B.
Yeah, I just want to say that one thing we didn't mention is make sure, and I said this last time, that your pet and you are well hydrated when you use the patches. It makes everything work better.
And also balanced nutrition, as Dr. Scarlett was talking about, and I know Dr. B is professes that too with all his clients. So thank you for that. And then Dr. Scarlett, did you want to say anything in closing?
Yeah, I would just remember that animals mirror their owner, so to check in with yourself and where your energy is at, and to be mindful of the dramatic impact that we all have on our animals that are around us. And the more aware we can be and mindful of the various harmful things in our environment. What are the toys made of? What are the beds made of? Do your research, start investigating and arming yourself with information, and look at your pet food labels. What are the second, third, fourth ingredients, and think about how was that food prepared? How was it processed? And all of that energy it has to go somewhere. So mindfulness would be my takeaway. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I want to thank all of you again. I'm sorry to the people raising your hands who we didn't get to. Please come back next month and raise your hand early, and we'll do our best to get to everyone. If you are interested in learning more about the patches or knowing how to get them, get back to the person who invited you. Whoever invited you is an angel who just wants the best for you and the best for your animals. And I always find it interesting to ask people, were they led to the patches for themselves or their animals first? And often it's our animals we are willing to do anything for, and then that's always a blessing back to us when we get the chance to find out about this amazing technology ourselves. So hopefully you're all sharing patches. And thank you again. Wonderful to have you all. And we'll be back next month, I think it's the 7th, the first Monday at the same time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all for loving animals.